All right, time to wrap up this insano year in video games with a nice, neat, pretty bow. It's my top 10 here, people, and in a year with so many big boy busting games, we are bound to have a few disagreements here. So please, let's just get into it. And if I say anything big goofy that you just can't stand to hear, then let me know in the comments. I just can't wait to read it. So this is number 10. Final Fantasy 16 was my first Final Fantasy game, and because of this, it will always have a special place in my heart, and not just because of the sexing scene between Clive and Jill, although that was noted and highlighted when considering placing this game on the list. I said it in my review, the combat is fast and chunky with enough depth that I never really got bored with it. It actually got more interesting as the game went on, and the world building and story were engaging enough to see me through a damn near 50-hour experience, despite some mid-game bloat. I know there are other, maybe better Final Fantasy games out there, and I do intend to play them at some point. I don't know when I will ever find the time, but to my knowledge, you can't turn into a giant demon and get into like kaiju boxing matches in those ones, and I feel like that's gotta count for something here. Cocoon is a game that only gets more interesting the deeper you go. The game credits Jeppe Carlson, who was the lead gameplay designer at Playdead, who developed Limbo and Inside, so naturally, Cocoon has zero dialogue and is pretty damn spooky. It shows you the story as you progress through increasingly difficult puzzles and boss fights involving your ability as a little tiny bug boy to carry tiny little universes on your back and enter them via this weird universe ball machine. Don't ask me to describe it, just look at the pictures, alright? I started this game and could not stop until it was over. The puzzles have this way of making me feel like a genius, like I thought I could pass the, okay, obviously I'm not I can't think of any the bar, whatever. I could pass the bar, and I could absolutely see myself playing through this again. It is addicting in the way that Inside is, and absolutely worth a watch, or listen, or play. It's worth a play. I love the finals. It may be my favorite shooter since Halo, which is crazy to say, but it's the most fun I've had with a shooter all year. I don't know if you've been able to tell, but I'm really not that good at shooting games. Pow, 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 pow.
You're right! You're right! Shoot, Austin!
Oh, I got Holy shit.
I got one, but the finals? I'm putting in that work with the finals. I don't know if it's the destructible environments, the easy to learn classes, the zero fall damage, infinite ammo, or the Coliseum game show backdrop, but I just never stop having fun with this game. Coordinating your classes with your team and executing a plan you pitch over the group chat is a rush I never thought I'd get from a shooter. All you do in this game is grab a little box, take it to another box, and then guard that box. Easy cheesy, lemon squeezy, give me some finals pleasey. That is so dumb. Mario Wonder needs no justification for being on a Game of the Year list, okay? Every time Nintendo puts out a Mario game, it's a gaudy contender for me, and that only speaks to the caliber of games that we've had in 2023, that this 2D platforming masterpiece ended up at number 7. I've said it before and I'll say it again, Nintendo gets fun, okay? These eggheads in Nintendo HQ have shrunk down to the size of a pea, Miss Frizzle style, gone into the human brain and reverse engineered how fun is experienced. From all the added cutesy little animations they give Mario in here, to the insanely creative level design, to the new, more cartoony art style they have in here, they flex their fun muscle hard in everything they put out, and Mario Wonder is no exception. In a year with so many stressy games, a little Mamma Mia went a long way.
What is it? He's going to sacrifice himself.
Hogwarts Legacy. Look how far we've come in the world of licensed properties having games made about them. I mean, sure, we had Ratatouille, but for the most part, it was a lot of stank out there for a long time. But then Arkham, and then Spider-Man, and then Avenger. Okay, not that one. Never mind. But now we finally have an incredible Harry Potter game too. I'm not going to pretend I'm not aware of the controversy around the game's release. In fact, I actually had some close friends of mine boycott the game because of it. Look, if you don't feel comfortable supporting a game due to something going on in the background of that game, that is totally fine. I respect your opinion and the right to do so. However, I've been a Harry Potter fan since I was a kid watching the movies, back when my classmates would call me Harry Potter because I unfortunately had the same haircut and glasses. To this day, I watch the movies all in one sitting once a year just to brush up on Harry and the gang because I'm sick. And I have been waiting for a game like this where I can fly around on a broom, be British, and turn people into cubs for way too long to miss this. That, and I truly believe that the Avalanche team behind the game made it very clear that they were passionate about making the best Harry Potter game possible and did not share the beliefs of She Who Will Not Be Named. This game was my most played game on PlayStation, and I still didn't get enough of it. 10 out of 10 dobbies. Okay, next game. Cult of the Lamb did not come out in 2023, but I played the shit out of it all year, and they put out DLC in 2023, so it's on the list, and there's nothing you can do about it. I'm not a huge fan of roguelikes or roguelites. In fact, I don't even know the difference or if there is one, if it's just like a spelling thing. I'm even less of a fan of Village Mayor Simulator, where you go around and do tasks for your little guys and feed them and clothe them, and it's just so tedious. We all had that Animal Crossing phase during COVID, but it's over. And yet, this game is both of those things, and it rides the line between them in a way that makes those aspects a delight instead of a chore. Instead of a cute village, you have a cute cult. And you are their leader. You are God. You decide who does what job, who needs to be punished, rewarded, sacrificed, whatever. While you're upkeeping all of that, you're going out in these 4 areas to kill each of these 4 old gods while growing stronger and stronger and collecting shit, and it's awesome. The loop is super addicting and satisfying every time, and every time a cult member reaches old age, a part of me dies inside. Oh no. Not you, Boppo. Oh, and they're adding new content to it like next week, I think, where your cultists can bone one another for some reason. I guess that was requested by people. Jesus. Allan Wake 2 nearly broke my brain for 2 reasons. The first is those damn jump scares. This game scared the shit out of me on the regular, and most of the time that's enough to get me to stop playing because, as I've said before, I am a whittle baby. I'm a whittle baby, I have a whittle bottle, I don't like scaly. The second reason is just pure confusion. I didn't play Allan Wake 1, so I was constantly wondering if I should know something already or if it was just another mystery for the game. But even with my busted brain, I still couldn't get enough of this game. I kept chasing all the answers to these mysteries, and it had me engaged in a way I haven't been since I first watched Lost. The difference here being I could actually explain the ending to this game, whereas trying to explain Lost is like finding a fart in a whirlwind. Long story short, this game has mood and story and scares, and I was actually here for it. Plus, they made like a whole musical section without it being completely cringe, so I don't know how you do that. Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name is a name that only a wacky franchise like Yakuza / Like a Dragon can get away with. I am dangerously invested in this franchise to the point of trying to push it on my friends like a new religion. This game in a lot of ways is more the same. It takes us back to the arcade beat-em-up real-time combat of the old games and puts us back into the shoes of 40-year-old Sigma Virgin Cosma Kiryu who's pretending to be a different guy but not very well because everyone seems to know exactly who he is. And for me, it was perfect for it. It's just a big nostalgia trip. I didn't need much from this game for it to be gaudy material because I'm sick in the head for Yakuza games, but I do think they honestly delivered on this as a love letter to fans who have stuck around since the beginning, and the ending had me in actual tears. Like, I'm glad I was the only one home because I was just sitting there sobbing on the couch for big Sigma Virgin Kiryu. I am beyond excited to see where this franchise goes moving forward. It has only got more and more popular, and people who have never talked about it are suddenly talking about it, and that's really cool to see as a fan. So with the new one, Infinite Wealth, coming out in a couple weeks, I really just want to see where we go from here. Spider-Man 2 is spectacular. There was a lot of talk in 2023 about what's expected from a sequel or a remake. Do people want more of the same, an evolution of what came before, or something new altogether? To be honest, I think there is no right answer. Spider-Man 2 was criticized for being more of the same of the first game and was rated lower than the first in a lot of places, which honestly I find kind of silly. They've enhanced swinging mechanics, adding the glider and making it where you move so much faster through the city, and added onto the combat, which feels different enough from the first one that you can't just spam and get through a fight. Not to mention adding the symbiote suit that everybody was asking for and knocking it out of the park again with an original Spider-Man story, which is hard to do these days. There's a lot of Spider-Man content out there, and it's hard to set yourself apart, and I think they've done it again. They killed it in the first game, and then they came back and killed someone else. How many friends and family can Peter lose before he loses his mind? That is the real question here. But my point is, in almost every sense of the way, this is what a sequel should be. It is taking everything and moving it to the next steps and giving you more of what you already love. But that being said, I'm an easy sell. I'm a big Spider-Man fan, and all I really want to do is swing around the city and solve the same crime over and over again. So, I mean, what does my opinion really mean? I will say, though, Miles' new suit is kind of whack. I can't really lie about that. The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. This game is a masterpiece. I'm not blind to the technical limitations of the Switch, alright? But not once did any frame rate hinder my enjoyment of this game. I went into 2023 thinking there was no way this game lives up to the hype that I had for it built up in my head. I had even forced myself to lower my expectations after seeing some of the crafting elements in the trailer. That's not usually my thing. I hadn't been addicted to Minecraft yet. But I was wrong. Playing this game felt like a miracle. And I know that sounds like a crazy stretch, but I was just constantly asking myself, like, how did these maniacs at Nintendo manage to do this again? Because I felt exactly as I did the first time playing Breath of the Wild. Once again, I felt like a small speck in this massive world they've painstakingly constructed for me to explore, and no matter what direction you set off in, you will find something incredible to see or fun to do. This game, like its predecessor, has captured the essence of true exploration that I can't even begin to explain. I didn't even want to fast travel in this game. I just wanted to walk everywhere. They have taken every element of Breath of the Wild and taken it to another level. The characters are all so fun and creepy in that perfect Zelda way. The story is an actual story because, let's be honest, Breath of the Wild didn't have much going for plot. The boss fights, including the last one, are actually memorable and super different from one another, and the world feels like somewhere you know and somehow don't know at the same time. It's like they took every piece of feedback they got from the first one and just fixed it all here. And going into this game, I had no idea about the depths. So diving down into just a random hole and hearing that music for the first time and showing up in pitch blackness and then opening the map to realize there's an entire other layer of it just left me in awe in a way that a game has not left me in awe in a long time. I talked about the expectations of sequels before, and for me, this is a true perfect sequel. Like I said, they took everything that people asked for in the first and did it and delivered a masterpiece again in the exact same world. Like, it should not work putting a game in the same world as the first one and still making you feel like you're somewhere new. Tears of the Kingdom took everything I loved about Breath of the Wild and cranked that shit up to 11, and that is why this is my number one game of 2023.